Many analysts believe that Naspers is overvalued, trading around 1,800 Rand a share. Some argue it could be headed for the 2,000 Rand mark. One person I spoke to recently said fair value at 2,400. It's beginning to sound like an auction. This is Tonight. I'm Bruce Whitfield. Tonight I'm speaking to Naspers WeChat Africa Chief Executive Brett Loubser about how that is contributing to the media giant's bottom line and its plans for the continent. It's all about WeChat. Certainly we look at numbers out of Asia, Brett Loubser, and it is absolutely flying over there.
Yes, I mean it's an explosive product, one of the biggest social communication applications on earth at the moment, in fact.
Okay, for those of us who don't know WeChat, explain it.
So WeChat is the category that we put it into is called a social communications platform. So it's a mobile-only chat app at the heart of it, but there's a platform built beneath it which enables multiple parties to actually connect with the end user in unique ways. So one of the key value propositions that WeChat is showing, I guess, the rest of the market how to leverage is this category of interaction called online to offline. We refer to it as O2O. And the idea there is using your mobile phone to actually interact with the physical world in a completely new and unique way.
You've got to explain that in English, please.
Because of what WeChat can do, this is the unique opportunity.
In English, please, absolutely. I mean, I hear you and the words are impressive, but connecting from the virtual world to the real world. Hold on a second. Explain it to me in baby steps, please.
So let's take an example. I mean, one of the products that we launched through last year on WeChat in South Africa, for example, is called Money for Jam. And what Money for Jam is a micro-jobbing service. So this is opening up WeChat, adding the Money for Jam account, and then being able to find location-specific jobs around you. And these are single task-based jobs that you could complete. So for example, one of the jobs might be to verify a point of interest on behalf of TomTom. So there you would go and stand on a street corner, take a photo of the KFC opposite, send your location through to the Money for Jam folks along with the picture, and once they verify that that is in fact still a point of interest that exists at that location, they send you money immediately. So the reason we refer to this as online to offline is because you're using your phone, which is connected to the online world, the internet, and interacting with the offline world in order to deliver value for yourself as a user.
Have individuals been able to monetize that opportunity, the Money for Jam phenomenon? It's doing reviews, doing all sorts of these single task jobs.
Yes, look, I think the big challenge for the Money for Jam chaps is to get enough jobs in the pipeline. I mean, when we launched, the demand was significant, so I keep very close to them. In fact, I had a chat with them today, and I think they've got a very robust pipeline being built up now, and they're going to keep enough jobs flowing through that system. So they're actually growing quite comfortably at the moment.
Who's the biggest client then? Who is really needing the services of the individuals in the real world to supplement what's happening virtually?
So it depends. Are we talking about WeChat specifically or in the Money for Jam example?
In the Money for Jam example, we'll move on to WeChat in a moment.
So the first example I mentioned with Money for Jam is the point of interest validation. Yeah. So TomTom is an existing client of theirs, but they're also starting to see some interesting opportunities coming out in the merchandising world. So an immediate example you could think of is a mom who's pushing a shopping trolley down the aisle at ShopRite. Why could she not be the person who takes a photo of the noodle stand so that the noodle manufacturer actually finds out whether they've got the shelf space that they should be allocated. So that type of job, really quick and easy to do, and they've got some good traction with that. And there's a couple of other interesting verticals that they're working with.
But one of the great criticisms of innovations like Twitter, for example, was how do you monetize people vomiting content, forgive the term, onto the internet, whereas WeChat seems to have far more practical money-making applications to it.
Well, I totally agree. I mean, I think the interesting thing for me about what WeChat does is it's got a transactional component that sits on top of the content layer. And this is where the real power is coming from, So the examples we've given of Money for Jam, these are kind of pretty unique. But even in the context of pure content, we work very closely with MultiChoice, and some of the second screen experiences that we've built, which are particularly effective in the reality TV show genre, we're able to actually deliver a richer experience than some of our competitors. And I think there's real opportunity for growth there too.
Again, I need a translation because I'm of an age, I know you can't see me, I can see you. We are of an age where the second screen experience is maybe a little bit foreign. It's not foreign to you, it's foreign to me. This is me talking about what's happening on the screen right now, for example.
Right. So, I mean, when we evaluate the behavior of people watching TV shows, it turns out that almost all of us sit and watch the TV show with our phone on the couch next to us. And when something happens on the screen that catches our interest and we want more information, we'll pick up our phone and we'll research it, or we'll find another way of augmenting the information that we're seeing on the screen. So what we've started building together with MultiChoice for shows like Big Brother Mzansi and Pop Idols and so on is a complete encapsulated experience that actually delivers content in real time and allows you as the viewer to interact with that content. And that could take the form of sending a message which ends up scrolling across the TV screen, or voting for your favorite housemate and so on.
I mean, it's extraordinary how it's evolving in South Africa, but the origins, of course, are in China, where it is absolutely enormous, isn't it?
Yes, I think by far the dominant mobile social platform.
And how then do we replicate on the African continent some of the magic that has occurred and has driven the value of Tencent and then the value of Naspers to such elevated levels?
Well, look, I mean, that's ultimately my job. And I mean, our objective is to do exactly that. As I mentioned to you earlier, I think the opportunity in Africa is quite unique because WeChat as a product is dependent on smartphone growth. So the territories that we're focused on in Africa are very much the territories where we're seeing strong uptake and growth of smartphones. And I think that our objective is to do exactly that, is to replicate the tremendous opportunities and experiences that customers can have on WeChat in China.
Okay, so how do you replicate that on the African continent? China's a different dynamic, a different market, not at all homogenous by any stretch of the imagination, but there's a shared identity perhaps. The African continent, is it a region by region, country by country, province by province strategy?
Absolutely. I mean, I think one of the biggest challenges in dealing with multiple territories in Africa is you have to hyper-localize. Even within countries, just taking South Africa as an example, we have a diversity of cultures that we have to figure out how to speak to and make our product relevant for. So we do focus extremely specifically on territories when we're active there, and work out what the best way is to actually engage with the audience's needs there.
You have a presence in South Africa. You've been here for what, 2-3 years?
Just short of 2 years.
Okay, just short of 2 years. How big an impact has there been in the number of people who utilize WeChat on a regular basis?
So, I mean, as part of our policy, we don't really talk about numbers specifically, but what I can say is that we have a big enough audience so that we've become relevant in a number of different areas from a South African context. So we've done a couple of experiments. Part of let me give some examples of the brands that we've done some work with. We ran a vouchering campaign with Hungry Lion. We're integrated with multiple television shows from a MultiChoice perspective. We've launched Cliff Central and Money for Jam, which is showing extremely strong uptake in South Africa. So I think we've managed to at least establish the relevance for our product and show how we plan to take it forward, while focusing on this platform strategy and helping people understand how they can plug their businesses into WeChat to deliver value to their users.
South Africans increasingly are accepting of social media. They're increasingly mobile. Mobile devices are becoming cheaper and cheaper. More and more of us have got devices in our hands, in our pockets, that we're able to access content on. On that basis, are you disappointed with the rate of growth in WeChat at all?
No, not at all. I mean, there's some independent research out there that gives some insight into where our numbers are at, but I think given the amount of time we've been focused on the local market, we're very happy with our progression.
Where's the next market? What's the next market for you, Brett Loubser, on the African continent?
So, I mean, we're focused on, I guess, the obvious candidates where the strong smartphone growth is happening, and we have an office established in West Africa now, and in particular in West Africa, obviously Nigeria and Ghana are of particular interest. So we're working with the mobile operators there. We already have a couple of deals active in the market with the operators, and we're starting to figure out how to actually engage with the audience there from a marketing perspective.
It helps that some of the big operators like MTN and Vodafone, and of course MultiChoice has got an Africa platform, hasn't it? So you could partner with your friends, customers and clients.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, and we've already seen some of the fruits of that, you know. So we integrated with Big Brother Mzansi as a first step with our second screen experience. But Big Brother Africa was phenomenally successful for us, and there we saw uptake in multiple territories throughout the continent.
How long until WeChat becomes a meaningful contributor to Tencent, WeChat Africa becomes a meaningful contributor to Tencent, and then back to Naspers?
Very difficult to say. I mean, we're still in our growth phase now. So, I mean, I don't have any particular monetization or revenue objectives in the short term. Right now, what we're doing is building audience and building value on the platform.
And that is a process. What is it, a 5-year plan? How much time have you been given to establish, considering the speed and the huge juggernaut-like nature of WeChat in China? There must be a level of expectation for the African continent.
Absolutely, yes. So, I mean, it again will come down to territory-specific expectations based on smartphone penetration and growth rates. But, I mean, I do have pretty aggressive targets. I guess this is one of the most dynamic, fastest-moving environments in all of tech. So we have to move extremely aggressively.
WeChat Africa's Chief Executive Brett Loubser on the line to us from Cape Town this evening. Thank you, Brett Loubser, for joining us and giving us an insight into the world of African WeChat. Thank you for watching. There'll be more tonight, tomorrow. Till then, good night and goodbye.